Welcome to the Rewilded Human podcast, where Dr. Lucille and Lynn will tackle your most difficult and intimate questions with candor, tough love, and a little dash of humor. In today's episode,
when we reach our middle years, you get into such patterns that you forget who you really are, and you forget things like, well, what were my dreams when I was younger? What was it that really lit me up? What was the thing that made me jump out of bed with excitement? And it is important to go back to that. And that gives you clues about who you really are.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Rewilded Human podcast. I can't believe we're on episode 11 already. This is incredible. I'm Lynn Hardy. It's just gone so fast, right? I'm Lynn Hardy. I'm a nutritional consultant and a naturopath. And I truly believe about the mind, body, and soul connection, and that the body has this innate ability to heal itself. And we are here to help you guys with this. And I'm going to introduce you to my co-host, my partner in crime, Dr. Lucille Nekas. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thanks, Lynn. Welcome, everybody. I am a holistic psychiatrist in private practice and a psychotherapist. My prime modality is EMDR therapy. And I also am an independent Healy World member. So I love promoting the frequency device Healy. There's so many frequency devices out there, but I think everybody needs to check into using a frequency device to totally enhance your life, your bioenergetic field. And I'm the kind of person that I just love getting in depth into understanding people, and nothing lights me up more than to see people totally become who they were meant to be if all the garbage in their lives hadn't happened to them.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
me.
Absolutely. And don't you think, Lucille, that like frequency energy healing is going to be like the future of medicine?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so many visionaries that have actually thought that way, and you can tell because there are so many frequency devices entering the market, and have been for quite a long time. And it really pays to know all about frequencies and to start tuning into your own and seeing whatever you can do to raise your vibrational frequency.
Absolutely.
That's the whole thing to really enhancing your life.
Yeah, it's such an exciting field, and I love learning about, I'd love to learn more about this. And guys, if you are interested in the Healy, then please check the link below so you can find out more and you can get your own as well, and find its healing benefits, find it for yourself. So we're going to jump into the questions, guys. We have 4 questions again for you today. As always, keep sending us your questions. You can reach us by sending us an email. You can find the email address below. You can also reach us on Instagram and on social media on the different platforms. All the links are below. And we're going to jump right into the first question so we don't waste too much of your time. Dr. Lucille, take it away.
John writes that about a worry that a lot of people go through regarding midlife crisis. I'm wondering if I'm going through a midlife crisis. I have a lot to be grateful for, a wife and children and a high-paying job, but I feel something's missing. My wife and I are so busy, we barely have time to see each other every week. Work is the same old. Most of my spare time is taken up chauffeuring the kids to sports events. Am I crazy for feeling the way I do? Well, my short answer to you, John, is no.
This is very common.
It's so common, and it is absolutely a reality. We were not put on this earth. I don't think we were born into these lives so that we could simply work hard to pay the bills, to create a good home for our families, and to keep chauffeuring our kids to sporting events. We have so much more to us than that. So I would say that it's a really important thing and courageous to stop and reflect and notice that you're not happy in the life that you're leading right now. And I can sense that you are grateful You're grateful for the
Mhm.
life that you have and that you've been able to create, but it is not fulfilling. It's not that meaningful for you.
So how does one
And,
find the fulfillment?
I think it really, first of all, it starts with what John's starting with, which is just to acknowledge that something's not right. And then to really start reflecting, because when we reach our middle years, you get into such patterns that, you forget who you really are. And you forget things like, well, what were my dreams when I was younger? What was it that really lit me up?
Mhm.
What was the thing that made me jump out of bed with excitement? And it is important to go back to that. And that gives you clues about who you really are and what will give your particular life meaning. Like, for example, I've had so many clients who've been in the corporate world, and their heart has been into doing some form of art,
Yeah.
but they can't get to it. They can't get to it. Life's way too busy. They just can't get to it. So they always tell themselves, okay, when I retire, I'm going to indulge in as much art as I want. But, that leaves your soul kind of dry and withered for a long period of time
Yeah.
until work ends. And then work survival mode becomes the most important thing in your day-to-day life. And that is just not nourishing for the human soul. It's just not.
It's like modern day slavery, right?
It's absolutely modern day slavery. And this is one of the reasons I think Lynn and I decided we wanted to do a podcast called TheRewildedHuman, because we need to go back to being wild. We need to go back to being creative and doing what really lights us up, rather than being like domesticated cattle,
That's exactly what we are, and
Yeah.
we always want more, and we want better things, trying to keep up with the Joneses and everything. And once you have children, then they want more and the latest iPhone. And it's so hard to get out of this, right? It's like the hamster wheel. You just keep going around and around, and then life passes you by, and next thing you know, it's all over, and you haven't done half the things that you wanted to do. So I totally feel your pain, John, and I totally understand that. We had a very successful business with my husband, and we were quite young when we decided to sell everything and to really focus on enjoying our lives and focus on our family and travel. And that was a very hard decision for us to make, because a lot of people, once they have a successful business, then they want it more successful, and they want more money, and they want more. And we just reached a point where we said, we have everything that we need, and what we need is more time and more enjoyment out of life. And that was a very hard decision to make. But a lot of people don't get to that point, or a lot of people don't have the luxury of doing that, because they're just surviving from paycheck to paycheck. And I think it's just trying to find, you need time to yourself, you need time alone, perhaps with your wife. And maybe you don't need to sign your children up. I mean, when you have kids, I went through this with mine too, but I mean, he has to learn piano, he has to play soccer, kids don't actually have to do everything. Pick one or two things, or let them pick what they're interested in, what they want to do. I don't know like, I didn't go to classes every day after school. Did you, Lucille?
No, not at all.
No,
Well,
I mean,
I was forced to do things like play piano or take ballet classes, but it wasn't like every night. It
and did
wasn't.
you enjoy it, or was it something that parents forced on you?
No, I didn't. It was imposed upon me.
So, I mean, I wonder if your kids are really enjoying the things that you're chauffeuring them to, or is it their choice, or is it your choice?
See, I think one of the things is because I know John, and his kids are like, they love their sports, right? They love sports, and a lot of their socializing is also circling around sports. That's all their lives. So it's school and sports.
Can they maybe take turns with other parents, so that you take them this week, another parent takes them next week? I mean, there's got to be ways to manage your time better, so that you don't feel so overwhelmed, and that you feel like, that you have a good quality of life, and you can actually spend time doing things that you really love and that feed your soul. I think that's so important.
Absolutely. There is a phenomenon called the soft suburban dad syndrome.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, and I didn't either until about, I think, a year ago. What it is that these, men who have ambitions for the life, who want to do things with their life, who want to have fulfilled lives, when they get married and they settle down and they have the typical suburban lifestyle, they kind of get soft.
Uh-huh.
They develop the beer belly. They don't go work out anymore, so their muscles get soft. Their
Mhm.
thinking gets soft, like they don't think about doing innovative things. They're kind of like prefer to sit on the couch and watch sports, or if they're chauffeuring their kids to sports. But it's kind of like they've gone soft, like there's no core juice in them. They've kind of lost their passion and their essential manhood,
Well, the
and they're
testosterone
good.
drops, right? The testosterone goes
Sorry?
down. The
Yeah, their
testosterone will drop
testosterone
as
goes
you know the
down.
belly grows and you're not physically active
That's
and
right.
you're not in the alpha male role, and then the
Yeah,
testosterone plummets and then it kind of just brings you down with it.
yeah. And so there has been an upwelling of an interest in men creating groups or tribes, sort of, where
Mhm.
they get together and they do things like they go camping together, and they do things to bring back the manhood
The
into them.
rewilded man.
They rewild
Love it.
themselves. Yes,
I love it.
yes.
Go hunting, go
So
fishing, go in the
go hunting,
wilderness.
fishing, yeah, and just do the things that men always used to do, and build up, because that builds up the
Of
testosterone,
course,
right?
of course.
And
And then you go
yeah,
home and you sweep the wife off her feet. I love it.
right. My
Yeah.
wife will totally love it. Absolutely.
That's a great suggestion. I love that. I've never heard that before, but that's actually a really, really good idea. So, John, hopefully that will help you. And write back to us and let us know if this is helpful. Definitely find your passion. And I'm not going to say put yourself first because you're a father. Obviously, you're going to put your family first.
You
But
have to put
put yourself at the top of the list and make sure your well-being and your happiness is also a priority. And of course, the happier you are, the happier your family will be. And also with the kids, go out and do stuff, not just take them to the sports events, but do stuff with them that you also enjoy, that you also get something out of. Okay, we are off
right.
to the
Yeah.
next question, which is from Alex. And Alex sends us a very thought-provoking question. I recently discovered my partner has been exchanging flirty texts with someone else. I feel betrayed, but they insist it's harmless and not cheating. Is texting someone else in a romantic or flirty way considered cheating? I'm really struggling to define the boundaries here. It's funny, I was just listening to a podcast and this lady called in and she said her husband was sexting with like 9 different women, and they were sending, naked photos and videos and all kinds of stuff. And he even met up with these ladies, but it was purely platonic. Nothing happened. And she actually believed this. So it's really crazy how delusional people get when something like
Yeah.
this happens. And in today's world where like sexting and flirty texts and all this stuff, and with social media, a lot of these things just kind of become normal. And people actually don't see this as cheating because you're not physically intimate with someone. But I mean, this is horrible. Like, I would be absolutely horrified to find something like this on my husband's phone.
Absolutely. I mean, what is the purpose of it? I mean, your partner is claiming that it's all innocent. So, but what is the purpose?
Yeah.
Why then does she keep doing it? What is she getting out of it? And if the tables were turned and you were doing it, would she be comfortable with it?
Yeah, I was assuming that
really,
Alex is a girl, so maybe Alex is a guy. Okay. Yeah, we're not sure.
could be.
It could be, yeah, it could, but
We're not sure.
either way, it's
It could be either way, but still,
yeah.
your partners, would she be equally comfortable with you sexting somebody else? And I think, you have to watch your tendency not only to lie to your partner, but to lie to yourself,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And, and you you get some kind of a high from being considered special, or somebody finds you sexually attractive or whatever. And maybe the light has gone out a bit on your sexual relationship with your current partner, and you're looking for that hit of feeling like somebody else is really attracted to you. I've had numerous people in my practice who have that, again, it's almost like an addiction. They need to feel like they are attractive. Gives them a big hit of dopamine.
Dopamine, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all a lie, right? It's all a lie. It is not. It's about, you are giving, your attention, your energy, your sexual energy to somebody else, even if you haven't met them in person, maybe even if you haven't had that drink with them or what have you. You're siphoning off precious energy from your partnership to this other person. Why? And, why are you lying to yourself about it? It's really important. And we get this also, it's normalized to a certain extent. Oh, well, after about 5 to 10 years, things are getting dull in the sexual relationship with my partner. So why not look for something a little more racy, right?
No, that's
ridiculous. It just depletes the energy that should be going into the relationship with your partner. And truth be told, most of the time, it doesn't stop at just the texting. It doesn't.
Exactly.
And because if it was all that, then it wouldn't keep being exciting. It would then get boring. And so you have to always notch it up a bit, and you meet the person, and then you start, and it just goes on and on. You just go down that slippery slope. So I would agree with you, Alex, that this is not right, and you need to be really exploring with your partner. If she is receptive to it, you need to be exploring, what exactly is this doing for her? Why does she have to do it?
How do you come back from this? Like, how can you trust
that's
someone?
Right.
Like,
how can you trust someone? Yeah, it's big. This is a big betrayal.
Yes. And I think this is happening a lot because with social media and everything, it's just so easy to reach out to someone. Hey, you're looking good, baby. And the next thing, for example, maybe the husband or the wife wasn't giving you that much attention, but here's this stranger, in Nigeria or wherever, right? That is telling you, you're the hottest thing since sliced bread. And you get excited, but people are also very gullible for falling for these things, because a lot of times these people are sending out 100 messages waiting for one to stick. So you're probably not that special, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think in today's world, being special is not, having hundreds of partners. That's not what makes you cool. What makes you cool is being with that one person and sticking it out with that person. That's the new cool, because it's just so easy to have these rapid relationships and jumping from one partner to the next and one relationship to the next, because there's always someone better. But it gets old very quickly, I think. So Alex, we wish you all the best with this. You definitely need to confront your partner. You need to address this and get to the root of the problem, find out why it's happening. And you need boundaries. I don't even know if people, when they get into relationships, do you define these things? Like, okay, I'm okay with this, I am not okay with this. Like, are people doing this, or do we need to start doing this? Because in today's world, it's not the same as it was before. Like, cheating has different definitions for different people. And maybe you need to define these things when you start a relationship with someone, to make sure this is not okay, or it's not okay when you're hiding your phone from me. And I think Alex needs to have, if he or she feels more comfortable having full access to the phone after this, then I think whenever he would want to look at the phone, that should be okay by the partner. Because if you keep hiding stuff, this is just going to go downhill very, very quickly.
Yeah. A lot of dating coaches, couple coaches, are really getting people to ask these questions, these really important questions, before people commit to a long-term relationship. Things like, are you into porn?
Mhm.
Or, do you find it like this question here? Is it perfectly okay for you to have an attraction to another person and start texting them? It's really coming out on the surface now for people who want to really have those important, meaningful relationships. It's getting important for them to ask these nitty-gritty questions.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I hope you guys have good communication and that you can talk about this and overcome this. Write back to us, Alex, and let us know how things are going.
Right. Yes, please do.
Okay, we're off to the next question from Katie. Lucille, I think you're up.
Okay, so Katie comes to us with financial concerns. I'm struggling with financial disagreements with my partner. We have completely different approaches to spending and saving, and it's starting to affect our relationship. How can we navigate these differences and find a financial balance that works for both of us? I'd love some advice on managing finances together without conflict.
So
Perfect question, Katie.
this goes
Thanks
back
for
to like the
asking.
previous one where you said,
Yeah.
before people get into a relationship, like talk about these things. I mean, these are important things. People just get married or jump into relationships, combine their finances, and not think about these things beforehand. I mean,
Mhm.
this is huge. It's so important, and financial issues can destroy so many relationships.
Absolutely. It's in the top 3 of reasons for divorce.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really
So
interesting.
yeah. So I agree with you, Lynn, that these, how people spend money is an issue that has to be explored before you ever think about taking the relationship to the next level. Absolutely has to. Yeah. And because money represents so many things for us. It's not just about paying the bills. It can impact our self-esteem, because you have a partner who thinks that money is there to buy the next biggest bauble, the next biggest Porsche, whatever it is, and they need that affirmation that they are amazing because they have the latest Porsche, or they have a perfectly renovated house. They need to show signs of how wealthy they are because that makes them feel so good. I had a client the other day. She was in an argument with her husband because he needed to buy a new car, like a new Mercedes, every 2 years.
Wow.
And not only would he get bored with the previous car, but it felt so good for him to be driving a brand new Mercedes. It was like his lifeblood to him, right?
Yeah.
And she, on the other hand, is very, very frugal, and she wants to save up for a stable retirement, which, her partner never thinks about the future. So this is a huge problem, right?
Definitely.
So one thing, Katie, that this couple has come to an agreement on is they've sort of talked about how they are on different ends of the spectrum when it comes to saving and spending, but they both also see that they're so extreme that they need to be a little bit more like the other. Like my client needs to be less rigid and frugal with money and learn to play with it a little bit more and buy nice clothes for herself and that sort of thing. And her partner agrees that, his spending style has been way too lavish and he needs to start thinking about the future and retirement and all of that. So they kind of made an agreement that whatever their differences are, they're going to listen to one another and really consider the other person's point of view and discuss how to compromise so that they they both get what they want from money to a certain extent, right? But they are not like on, at totally different ends of the spectrum and at complete loggerheads with one another. So that is something you might want to consider if you haven't already done so with your partner, to sit down and say, listen, what are our long-term goals? What are our values? What does money mean to us? What are our non-negotiables with money? You really nail it down, because otherwise the money issues are going to sink your relationship.
Yeah, it can be a big problem. And like you said, sometimes, the partner that we attract is because they are the opposite of us, and we need to learn from them, and we need to find that balance. Like, we need a little bit of this and he needs a little bit of what I have, or the way my personality is. So I think we can balance each other out very well with that. Like, my husband is he's more into spending. I'm more frugal, I'm more conservative. So I'm the one that kind of has to pull him back. But one thing you can kind of do, Katie, is, if once all the bills are paid and you've got some money into the savings and everything, then you can also allocate, certain funds, like say $500 for you, $500 for your husband, that you can truly spend on whatever you want each month, or whatever you guys are able to do, that you can spend on whatever you like. Because I think as adults, we also don't like someone telling us what we can spend on, what we can't spend on. I think it's really important to have our own hobbies and have our own, if the lady likes to spend money on shoes or purses and the guy likes the cars or whatever, but there has to be a balance so that one person doesn't feel like the other person's spending all this money while I'm trying to save the money, because that just doesn't work like that. But you need to find some kind of a balance where everyone is happy. So communication is so important when it comes to finances. Like we said, it's best to have this communication done beforehand. That would save you a lot of problems in the future. So before getting married, spend a lot of time talking about this for the future, for the kids. And it's quite funny. I actually have friends like this. And in Germany, this is very common, that people, they get married and they have separate bank accounts. And they remain like this. I can't imagine living like that. Like, for me, that's not a partnership. Like, for me, a marriage, a partnership is also a financial partnership. But I know I have friends like that. They are, they're married, they have children, and they have separate finances completely. And the mother is buying the school stuff for the daughter, and the father is buying the school stuff for the son. I mean, isn't that crazy? And in Germany, this is completely normal. So there are other cultures that deal with this issue differently. Yeah. But there are definitely solutions. And, having separate finances is I don't think that's the ultimate solution, because I think we need to be united in marriage and in relationships. I think that's really important.
I agree.
Yeah. So hopefully we were able to answer your question, Katie, and hope this helps. Make sure you guys talk a lot, and I'm sure you can get this resolved. As long as you love and respect each other, I'm sure you guys can overcome this. So this brings us to the last question. This is from Delia. She's worried about her grandkids' diet. How do I get my daughter to feed her children healthy food? Most of my life, I've been what the family calls a health nut. None of them take good care of their health. It kills me to see how my grandkids are being fed lots of sugar and processed food. But every time I try to talk to my daughter about it, she either blows me off or blows up at me. So I'm that health nut in the family. So I can completely relate to this. And I don't know, when I do have grandchildren, I'm going to be the grandma from hell, because I'm going to be, oh my God, you're feeding that kid what? I actually told, when I had my son, I told my parents, because they were also the grandparents from hell, but the other way, they were just feeding him sugar and sweets and everything that I would forbid. They would feed him all the time. So I went to the extreme. I can't say much because they're actually listening to this podcast, but actually went to the extreme of telling them that my son is allergic to sugar, that this was a diagnosis from the doctor, and my son is allergic to sugar. Of course, they didn't care about the diagnosis. And every time I would get him back, he would be like spinning, like, that Tasmanian devil, like spinning out of control, because he would just go crazy on sugar. So that was really, really hard for me. And as if I was a grandma, it would probably be even worse. So it's really tough, Delia, because you have no control. It's like, once your kids are grown and they have their own children, I don't know. I think about this so much, how I'm going to handle this. I don't know. Lucille, any wise words for Delia?
No, I have clients like this, and you know, you do not have any authority over another person's child, even though it's your grandchild.
Yeah.
You just have no authority. And you know, I know clients, what they do, sometimes they will you know, print out articles about the dangers of sugar for children, and they'll leave it in certain places where their children can see it, you know, and it always backfires because people do not like to be told what to do. People do not like to be told they're doing it wrong and here's how you do it right.
Yeah.
So you're already off to a bad start if that's the way you're approaching it, you know. One thing you could try to do is just stop struggling with your kids about how they're feeding their just stop. When the grandkids are with you, you try to introduce healthy foods. You try to restrict the unhealthy foods. But that's really difficult because the kids are addicted to sugar.
Yeah,
so
they're going to be tossing the healthy foods at the wall. You know, it's like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And you're going to be the bad grandma. You're not going to be the good
sometimes
grandma because the good grandma feeds them.
Nobody's not, the kids, grandkids are not going to want to visit you.
Yeah. So
So,
it's so hard.
Yeah. So sometimes it just means, and as painful as it is, you just back off and you stop the struggle, and then you watch to see what happens, because after a while, the kids are unfortunately going to start having issues that they're going to have to see doctors for.
Absolutely.
And if your daughters or sons, it's usually the daughters that are involved in this. And maybe you have daughters. If the daughter is involved and they're getting concerned about their child's health and they don't know what to do, and you have been a safe person to talk to.
Yes.
That's the thing, where they don't feel they're going to be criticized. They're not going to be told what to do. You're going to listen with compassion. Then you might just have a chance to put in your own 2 cents worth, you know?
Yeah.
But if you've already been butting heads for years about this, your children will not go to you for advice about how to feed their kids. They will just avoid you like the plague, you know? So I know it's counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Yeah, it's so hard because what's going to happen is that, you know, eventually the kids will get sick, and then that you have to wait for the kids to get sick to like.
Yeah.
I have a cousin, my husband's cousin that I'm very close to. And she was the same way with her kids. And her daughter at 4 was 60 kilos. And at like 9, she was like almost 100 kilos. And now she's 15 and her knees are destroyed and she has so many health issues. And I've been, you know, telling her since she was a baby, you have to stop. You cannot feed her. You can't keep giving her all the soft drinks. You can't keep feeding her crap. But she never listened to me. Or it was the father that was feeding it, you know, and now to see that, you know, all of this could be prevented, and it's going to be diabetes. And I told her, I said, look, your daughter's going to have diabetes. By the time she's 30, she'll probably be having her leg chopped off. And, you know, like I was very extreme and trying to scare her off, but to do better, but I couldn't do anything. And it's so frustrating. So I totally understand your frustration, Delia. I totally understand. But I think your relationship with your daughter and your grandkids is more important. And if you keep pushing and pushing, you're just going to end up pushing them away. And all you can do is kind of hope that eventually they will come to this conclusion on their own. But if the parents also have bad food habits, eating habits, lifestyle habits, then it's going to be a really strong wake-up call, perhaps, that will change that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm sure I speak for Lynn when we say this is a very painful issue that you're having to deal with. And our hearts go out to you, and our hearts go out to these grandkids.
Absolutely.
And yeah, hopefully there will be some resolution.
Yeah, I hope so too, because in my eyes, it's child abuse. What
It
parents
is.
and
I
I don't want to say anything bad about your daughter. Obviously, that's not what but to me that is, because their health and their lives are in our hands, and it just makes me crazy how some parents treat this privilege that we are given. So my heart breaks for you, dearly. I'm really, really sorry. And all you can do is be patient, and we hope that things will turn out for the best. And that brings us to the end of episode 11. Thank you guys again for listening to us rambling on, and hope you got something out of it, and I hope you enjoy it. We definitely enjoy bringing these episodes to you guys. I think we're getting more and more into it, and it's a lot of fun, and we love getting your questions, so please continue sending them in. Make sure you like, subscribe, sign up, whatever platform you're on. Drop a comment below, send us your questions. We always look forward to hearing from you. And thank you guys again for being here. Thank you so much, Dr. Lucille, as well. And we will see you guys in the next episode, which is going to be epic. I don't have the questions yet, but I know they're going to be mind-blowing. Right, Lucille?
Yeah, they always are. And
They always are.
We so appreciate that you're so open and really generous with asking our opinion, and because all of your questions are relevant in some way to so many other people. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
You're really helping me. Yeah. And thank you so much, Lynn. You've been great at organizing the questions and it really adding your own personal experience to all of this. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much, Lucille. And thank you guys all. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Please be aware that Lynn and I are here to provide insights, advice, stories that are for educational and entertainment purposes only. None of our content should be considered to be personal, medical, or mental health therapy. If you are experiencing a mental health or physical health challenge, please consult the appropriate healthcare specialist. We are here to provide the best possible content in an atmosphere of positive conversation and personal growth.